Married at First Sight, season 14, episode 5. And I've been thinking about this Jelani versus Olajuwon thing, and I'm trying to figure out, is Jelani a hater or is he really a friend? Because I'm starting to get tired of these so-called friends and family getting in the middle of these marriages. We already seen Chris's friends darn near take his marriage before it even got off the ground. And then that little tidbit that Michael's sisters told Jasmine had gotten her head. So now I'm trying to figure out, is Jelani going to be the next thorn in the side of Olajuwon? And I've been thinking a little bit differently about it. First of all, I'm wondering if Jelani judged Olajuwon a little bit too soon. Because Jelani, first of all, didn't even have all the information we had. We had a whole 3 episodes before this doggone wedding. And we got to see Isaac, all his background. We had a lot of information on him to know that he was his playboy and he had done some stuff in his past that, really wasn't good. But Jelani didn't have all that information. Remember, Jelani just met him on that same day or the day before at the wedding, just like Katina met him. So he didn't even have all the information we had to go off of to judge Olajuwon so quickly. Now, I know at the wedding and the reception, Olajuwon probably didn't make the best impression. I know definitely for that mama he didn't, because he was up there darn near doing a Magic City, P-Valley strip show in front of all Katina's family and friends. So we know that didn't bode well and probably did give Jelani, give him the side eye. But I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if that's enough just to convict Olajuwon so quickly. I mean, like I said, he didn't even have all the information we have. So I'm actually starting to come to a little bit of a different conclusion. I'm actually starting to feel like Jelani came to a conclusion way too fast on Olajuwon. And I'm wondering, what does all this mean? So I want to roll back the clip. I want to look at it, and I want us to look at it again. So first of all, when Olajuwon first comes in, he basically comes in, he's pretty carefree. He's pretty open, like an open book. He's like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't really cuddled with no girl in 2 years. He's basically trying to tell the people, hey, listen, I haven't been in a serious relationship for a while, so I know there's some things that I want to do. And he goes on to explain, I really want to get to know her on a mental level. I'm not just all about the sex. I really want to get to know her on a mental level. So I want to know, is there anything wrong with the approach that Olajuwon came in with? Take a look at the clip.
How are you? You're looking mighty chipper today.
Yeah.
How was that night?
It was good. She said I need to work on my cuddle game now.
Oh, okay. It's not strong?
No, I'm not used to it yet.
Yeah.
It's been years since I actually cuddled with a woman to be real with you, so.
So since y'all didn't cuddle, I'm assuming y'all didn't cuddle?
She has nice lips though. Got a little makeout.
Okay.
It was cool.
Okay.
The vibes there. It's not that we didn't. I think me and her just trying to get on the mental. I really want to know her.
I didn't see nothing wrong with what Olajuwon says. So then after this part, this is when Jelani starts going in. He's saying basically, you're a good-looking guy. So Jelani recognizes that Olajuwon's a good-looking guy. He can see he has an outgoing personality. He's saying basically, so you're either here for one or two reasons. You're either here because you think these experts can do a better job at finding you a mate, or you have ulterior motives. And you know what Olajuwon chose? He chose door number 1. And door number 1 was, I think the experts can do a better job than what I've been doing.
Not a typical scenario. It's not the kind of method that you need at all.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be something you want out of this process, right?
Absolutely.
It's either you really believe in the process, you believe that somebody can do a better job at finding a match for you,
right?
Or you have ulterior motives.
Yeah, no, I'm here for the right reasons.
He says basically, no, I'm here for the right reasons. And then he also says that, hey, if I was really this bad guy, I think Katina would pick up on it because she's been out here in these streets. She's seen it before, so she would see it right away.
I feel like she's been around enough. Oh, yeah. She'll be able to call it out if that is what it is.
So what's wrong with that? I don't see what was wrong with what Olajuwon said. So then next thing you know, Olajuwon says, yeah, I acknowledge that, I don't struggle in the department of attracting women. He acknowledges, he's up for it. He says, yeah, that's not my issue. So I can understand, how you're thinking, Jelani. He's actually trying to, calm Jelani down. He said, I know how you could think that.
Yeah.
I'm not a bad-looking dude. I don't struggle with the women category. So I want to try something new.
But then Olajuwon goes on, but I want to try something new. And this is where Jelani gets a little bit upset. He starts saying something new. That doesn't take into consideration the gravity of the situation.
Trying something new is like a minor change, right? Getting married is a final decision. When you say till death do us part,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
But he basically goes on to say, but I want to try something new. And, Jelani didn't like that answer. But here's the thing. Isn't that what everybody says when they come on Married at First Sight? Why are you on Married at First Sight? And everyone says, well, I've tried everything else. Apps, swipe left, swipe right. Nothing has worked. So I decided to try something new. So what's wrong with Olajuwon saying that he's trying something new? It's pretty much the same answer everyone else is given. It's pretty standard. But then Jelani doesn't even like the answer. He's like, oh no, you're not taking into consideration the gravity of the situation. This is much more important than something new. He's basically putting down Olajuwon's answer, but yet we know that's pretty much the answer everyone gives. Everyone is trying something new and different because the stuff they did before didn't work. But it's not good enough for Jelani. He's like, oh, no, you're not understanding the gravity of the situation. So then Olajuwon's like, no, I understand. And so I think Olajuwon goes back in. He tries to re-explain in another kind of way. But as he starts talking and trying to explain, Jelani keeps cutting him off. It's almost like Jelani's on this one track. He's determined to not believe anything that Olajuwon is saying, because every time Olajuwon tries to say something, Jelani cuts him off.
I get what you're saying, because you're saying like you're making it sound like you just
gravity.
You make it sound like
gravity. Seriously,
I get what you're saying.
I really did have an issue with his answers. It raises questions about what his intentions are and whether or not he's just on this for attention. That's it. Because he just seems like he's doing it because he wants to blow up.
Seriously, you guys are protecting us. Call me out. If you think call me out, bro.
So here's the thing. I agree with Jelani in terms of the seriousness of getting married. And I believe that it's a worthy conversation to have. In fact, maybe they should have had Jelani in the interviews with Alyssa about this, because she obviously didn't take it seriously. But here's the problem I have with Jelani now. This conversation he's having with Olajuwon right now is a little bit too late. It's a good conversation, but it's a conversation too late, because the time to have this conversation is before someone gets married. When you're talking about the gravity of marriage and all this, that's a conversation to have before someone gets married. And that's what he should have told Katina if he was talking to her about making sure she was in it for the right reasons. Now, if he was meeting Olajuwon like, they were just dating, of course, this would be a conversation he'd have with Olajuwon saying, hey, I just want to make sure before you propose, you know how serious marriage is, so you don't just be messing with my girl and, messing up her mind and wasting her time. That's a worthy conversation. But at this point, they're already married. So Jelani, what you going to do with your opinion? What are you going to do with your opinion? If you had this opinion of Olajuwon before they got married, you could go up to Katina and say, hey, you know what? I don't think this guy is really serious about marriage. I think you need to slow down. I don't think that you should marry him, because I think, he's just going to want to do this for fame. Sounds good. But guess what, Jelani? They already married. So what's the point, Jelani? Is the point that, afterwards, if everything just falls apart, you can sit on the throne and you can say, you know what, I told you so. I told you so. I told you he was just in it for the fame. Is that the reason for saying that? So you can just say, I told you so at the end if everything falls apart? Or are you saying you're going to use this information and go to Katina and say, hey, Katina, you better be careful with him, because I think he's just here for the fame. So what's she supposed to do for the next 8 weeks? Not give her all into the marriage and trying to make it work, because in her head she's thinking about what you said, Jelani, that he's just in it for fame. So what's she supposed to do for the 8 weeks? Walk on pins and needles, not really get to know Olajuwon because she's listened to one of her best friends tell her that he's just in it for the fame? I mean, what's the point? It's almost like telling a person, hey, with a gun in their hand, saying, hey, be careful where you aim that gun. Well, if they've already pulled the trigger, what's the point of telling someone to be careful with the gun when they've already pulled the trigger? It doesn't help. See, my point is, I understand where Jelani's coming from, but at this point in time, I think his opinion actually can't do anything but harm them at this point. I think at this point, Olajuwon and Katina are in the marriage, and I like their strategy so far of Bonnie and Clyde, and that's what I'd rather them stick to. I think Jelani needs to hold his opinions to himself. I think he needs to hold his opinions for himself, and he can just be on standby that if his premonition or his opinion does come true, then he's there to support and help his best friend or his friend or whatever. But at this time, putting poison in her ears or putting things in her ear, at this time, it does no good because they're already married. This is the type of stuff and conversations you'd have with your friend before they got married. But once they're in a marriage, your role as a friend is to support and hopefully help them get through it. And I really hope that Jelani's motives are pure. I hope he's just not one of these guys on the sideline that really liked Katina back in the day, but Katina put him in the friend zone, because we know he's not Katina's type. Because Katina says she likes bad boys. And we already know that Jelani is not a bad boy. We can tell. I don't know if Jelani is, what team he's batting for, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume he's heterosexual. I don't know. I don't know, because we don't know much. But I'm just saying, we know that he's not Katina's type. So how did he get in the friend zone? Did he get friend zone because at one time he wanted to be Katina's man and he got friend zone? See, that's what I said. I don't know what the intent is behind Jelani's advice. And that's why I think he needs to keep his mouth shut. Because let me tell you something. What if Katina does fall in love with Olajuwon, and now she's stuck in the middle of her husband and her best friend, and now she knows she has a friend who doesn't even like her husband? What kind of position is that going to put Katina in? That's not helping your friend when you're going to make your friend choose between you and her husband. That is not a good look for a friend. And let me tell you something. When a friend starts inserting themselves in between a spouse and a husband, you know what they say, leave and cleave. You might get left behind as the friend. Be very careful, Jelani, because if she does fall in love with Olajuwon and they do work out, you might find yourself on the outs. Anyway, that's it, y'all. What y'all think? Do you think is he being a friend or is he being a hater? And did he jump to a conclusion too soon? Because I think he came in a little too hard too soon. And I sure hope he doesn't say what he said to us on camera to Katina. That's it. Bye.